This is 911. Do you have an emergency?
Today on Rescue 911. Driven off the road. A reckless hit and run.
We got a human being underneath this car.
Leaves a girl hopelessly trapped.
First thing that went to my mind, you gotta get that mud away from her face.
Plus, an emergency call.
We were flagged on through, which is not standard procedures.
That's really a prison break.
Your chest is hurting you?
Listen up. We go into the ambulance. We're gonna act like nothing's wrong.
On Rescue 911.
In an emergency, the only thing more precious than time is the life that's slipping away. I'm William Shatner. Tonight, true stories of desperate situations and the people who fight to change them. We begin on April 5th, 1992, in Mobile, Alabama, as Stacy Purdon stopped by to pick up her close friend, 15-year-old Nancy Woods, at the Woods family home so they could go shopping at a nearby mall.
Stacy came up, and Nancy and Stacy, and they want to go riding. And they was laughing and cutting up, like they usually do. They always have a good time together.
Nancy came in this world, she was ready. She took on the world full of gusto. This kid, a 1 in a million child.
Have you went and gotten any more clothes for spring break?
Traffic's slow now.
Yeah, it is.
We need to go ahead.
Brent and Kathy Gallagher were driving south on Interstate 65, 100 yards behind Stacy's car.
On this particular Sunday afternoon, there's cars, but it was not like bumper to bumper.
I wonder what the lots are going for over there.
I have no idea. I looked in my rearview mirror. I got this guy behind us.
Look at this guy.
He's driving like an idiot. There was a red car coming up at a high rate of speed, driving very recklessly.
But he passed.
But I'm gonna slow down. Okay.
This is a young boy, hot rod car, joyriding. Brent said it's nuts like that to get people killed.
Yeah. See, now I don't know why that fool back there wants to cut in like that. He's driving back there? Oh, God.
He started coming in my lane, so I just automatically got in the emergency lane. It was like a feather in the wind, flipping across the interstate. Brent slammed on brakes, pulled over, and my thoughts were, you know, whoever's in that car could not be alive. And then my second thought was, what's he gonna see when he gets down into that car?
When we continue.
The goriest thoughts were going through my mind because I just saw a car do the most incredible thing I've ever seen in my life.
You all right?
When Stacy Purdon's car was clipped by another car at more than 60 miles an hour, it tumbled out of control, landing upside down in a drainage ditch along the side of the highway. The passing motorist, Brent Gallagher, and his wife, Kathy, immediately pulled over to see if they could help.
It was almost a nightmare during the daytime because I just saw a car do the most incredible thing I've ever seen in my life. The goriest thoughts were going through my mind. Fortunately, she was conscious, didn't seem to be bleeding from anywhere. I said, hey, just be still, stay still. Because I've always heard, keep a accident victim still.
The boy who had hit the girl just looked at me with a stare like, you know, maybe he was in shock. And his exact words to me was, look at my car. And I said, forget your car. Please go down and help my husband. He did not speed off. He did not drive erratically. He drove the way he should have been driving in the first place. There was a man who pulled up behind us. He had a car phone, and I told him to call 911.
Don't move, not move.
Alan Upchurch also saw the accident and stopped to help.
You know, you see a lot of wrecks, but when you see a car upside down, the blood gets a-flowing. Somebody's hurt.
She was very shaken, and then it's almost as if she just all of a sudden came to and said, "Where's my friend?"
So you had somebody with you? Oh, God.
In a car accident, I figure she could have been thrown 100 yards, who knows? So we're looking everywhere.
We looked both ways down the ditch there, up and down the interstate, over the fence towards the service road.
Foot, man, we got a foot right here.
I reached down there to grab her ankle to see if she had a pulse, and she moved it. You know, it wasn't like a muscle spasm. I mean, she moved it good. You know, I said, this girl's alive. You know, we need to get the car up.
One guy said, "No, hey, man, we can't move the girl that's in the car." And I said, "We got a human being underneath this car. Let's do what we got to do."
Come on. Go. Come on.
We thought we were going to lift this car, get this girl out. You hear of people, one man lifting a tractor off his baby.
Get it up. We got to get the car up.
Don't look over there.
Let's get it up. Come on. 1, 2, 3. Come on.
So we pulled. Well, the mud was our downfall because we were sliding and slipping. What I saw, I guess I'll remember as long as I live. She was flush with the mud in a split position. I just knew she was dead.
Oh, man, try to ease it down. Try to ease it down.
Another guy on the other end said, we can't hold it. To me, it was like we let her down. Is she going to give up now, or is she going to hold on? I just moved down, I felt her shoulder, and her hand was there by her shoulder. I checked her pulse, and it was real weak. And I thought, don't give up now. You're too close to give up now. And at that time, you could hear the sirens and all coming.
Within minutes of the call, units from the Mobile Fire Department arrived, led by Captain Roy Wallace.
I noticed a man squatting, holding her arm, and he looked up at me and said, "I just lost her pulse 1 minute ago." There was no time for no fancy equipment. We had to get down and lift the vehicle the old-fashioned way.
Lisa Bishop was the first paramedic on the scene.
Those guys walked up there and picked up that car like it was their sister or their mother laying there.
They drug her out, and there was no life whatsoever. They were digging mud out of her mouth, out of her nose. I thought her backbone had been snapped in half because she was like a wet noodle.
My shoulder, I knew it hurt, and I knew something was wrong with it, but I was worried about her. I said, please tell me she's not going to die, you know. And the woman said, we just don't know.
Paramedics radioed ahead to Spring Hill Memorial Hospital, less than a quarter-mile away, and spoke with emergency physician Larry Ennis.
Got any pulses? I got a crank radio.
We really thought we were working with someone who was dead, but the fact there was a pulse there just turned us on. She began to move around a little bit, and very quickly her pupils became reactive. These were all very good signs. One of my standard questions when people come in the emergency room is, were you wearing a seatbelt? I already know the answer. People that wear seatbelts don't come to the emergency room.
Come back, girl. Come on.
We got a little blood pressure back. Her neck was okay. Her chest x-ray looked okay. Didn't find any signs of other major injuries, so this apparently was almost a pure suffocation, a pure drowning.
Starting to get some spontaneous respiration.
The mud probably protected her from any major crush injuries of the vehicle itself, but it also kept her from breathing. She's still unconscious, she's comatose, but at least we've got some vital signs back on her.
Nancy's father, Philip Woods, was briefed about her condition as soon as he got to the hospital.
They told me that she was underneath the car for 5 or 6 minutes. That even if she recovers, we don't know what kind of condition her mind's in, because you only can live so long without oxygen, you know, or damage to your brain, or all that kind of stuff. She may not be nothing. 11 years and all. Love you.
As soon as she heard about the accident, Nancy's mother, Johnny, went to be with her.
You can't allow yourself the luxury of going nuts. I remember the nurse telling me, talk louder, you know, really talk to her. That's the most critical thing right now, is getting her to respond.
The doctors were honest. She may be there for a month, might be years, may never come out of it.
Do surgery all right, and we can be with her.
Anybody that believed in God, whether they were religious or not, was holding hands and praying.
Monday morning, 10 o'clock, it was just like somebody turned her back on.
Yeah, she don't. She does, don't she?
I didn't see her until about 3 days later. I really expected her to still be on a respirator and comatose. And the nurses told me she's been moved out to a room. That surprised me itself. And I went out to the room, knocked on the door, and I found 3 kids bouncing around in the bed laughing, and I had to ask which one was the patient.
See, then you could wear that.
Although Nancy suffered no broken bones, her short-term memory has been affected.
Everybody wants to know what happened, and I just can say what I've heard. Kind of makes me feel stupid sometimes that I don't remember.
You wanted to come to the wrong place for some good clothes, girl.
That's what he's saying.
Nancy's best friend, Stacy Purton, who was driving that day, broke her collarbone.
Nancy's changed. She has mood swings now, but we'll always be friends. And just like if I ever needed her, I could call her at any time and she'd be there for me. And if she knows I'd be there for her any time.
1, 2, 3, go.
The driver of the car that hit them subsequently pleaded guilty to leaving the scene of an accident and was sentenced to 6 months probation.
When I get in the car, or any car, especially mine, I won't get in without putting on the seatbelt. Because, I mean, if I would have had it on, it wouldn't have never happened.
Oh, my goodness. If one person had not done what they had done, I wouldn't have a daughter. I don't know what I would do without her.
You listen to news and you listen to everything. The United States people don't care for nobody. And all of a sudden, those people that you didn't think would do it, that don't care about nobody but themselves, are getting out of the car, getting down in the mud, digging, pushing, and saving your kid. That's a big thing.
I don't feel like a hero. A little piece of me didn't want to see it, didn't want to be a part of it. I wanted to run, I wanted to get away, but I couldn't. Someone needed help, and I did what I had to do.
Nice meeting you.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. You're very welcome. I'm just glad we're meeting under these circumstances. It really is great.
She died a couple of times, is what we understood. You don't want to kiss your daughter or your children goodbye in the morning, then get a call that you won't see them again. I just feel that one day I know I'll need someone, or someone I love will need someone, and I just hope someone, whether they know them or not, will help. And I was trying to stay in front of her so she couldn't see her, because she didn't. She didn't look like she'd be here. Please don't cry. Y'all don't know what we...
She is my little Nancy back. Her smiles and everything. And any other problems we got, I can live with it. People think that's a small thing to ask for, is a smile. But if you've seen her in that mud, it's enough.
I appreciate it. I really do.
Next.
Corley was a murderer. He didn't have anything to lose, and I knew he didn't have anything to lose.
You want to die?
When it comes to saving lives, rescuers go wherever they're needed, but sometimes that turns out to be dangerous. In Nashville, Tennessee, paramedic Maurice Tidwell and his partner James Pollard thought they were prepared for any emergency until April 13th, 1988.
About 2 a.m., we received a call to go to Tennessee State Prison.
We didn't think anything of it because we went out there quite a bit. We get on the prison grounds like we normally do, go through a guard shack that's out near the highway, and he motions for us to go through, which is normal.
We proceeded to checkpoint 1. That's the point where we go and pick up a guard to go inside the walls of the compound because we have to be escorted inside there. Normally, we have to wait to get a guard there, anywhere from 5, 10, 15 minutes, depending on what the problem is. That particular night, there was one standing in the parking lot waiting on us. We proceeded around to the vehicle gate, which is around the side of the compound. The guard got out of the ambulance, put his weapon in a bucket, and it was raised into the tower. They don't take their weapons inside the walls with them. At that point, the ambulance goes into what they call a vehicle trap. There's 2 gates. They open one, you pull in, they shut it, and then you're in between the 2 locked gates where they do a search of the ambulance. That particular night, we came up to the vehicle gate. Both gates were open. We were flagged on through. The ambulance was not stopped in the trap. It wasn't searched. Everyone was in such a hurry, it gave you the impression that one of the guards was hurt or sick real bad. Once we got to the treatment room, we walked in and there's one man, Mr. Corley, who's in the wheelchair. Beside him is the nurse that's in the infirmary.
I gave the first ambulance attendant vital signs that was unreal. He looked at me because he realized, hey, this man shouldn't be living with this kind of bogus information.
So your chest is hurting you? Yeah. Listen up. Get up. We go into the ambulance. We're gonna act like nothing's wrong. And if you blow it, everybody's gonna die. I'll kill everybody in here. Take it easy. Get that stretcher over here now. Relax.
The uncertainty of what the next action was going to be led everyone to be on edge.
Get down now. Don't touch me, man. Don't touch me. Just trying to help.
During a previous escape attempt, Corley had been shot and paralyzed when he killed a hostage.
Get yourself over here, Bone. Just trying to help.
When the gun's stuck to your head, you know that there's a crazy man that's holding it. You don't know if you're going to live the next minute. You don't know if you're going to see daylight.
Everybody keep it cool. Let's walk in the park. All right. Take it easy. You take it easy.
The second inmate, Mr. Driver, said that he was going as well. And if any questions were asked of why he was going out, that we were to tell him that he was going to help load the patient.
Both prisoners were convicted murderers, serving life sentences in the maximum security prison.
We passed one guard on the way, which did not question why we had 2 inmates and the nurse going out with us, which is not standard procedures. We only transport one person at a time, and prison personnel, the only one that goes with us is a guard. We never take medical personnel with us.
Corley was someone that you feared. Corley was a murderer the 3rd time. He didn't have anything to lose, and he told me he didn't have anything to lose. And I knew he didn't have anything to lose.
I knew that we were in trouble, and there was a real danger for our lives there, but I didn't anticipate ever getting past the checkpoint.
Get in, everybody, in!
My partner was directed to get up front and drive. Myself, the nurse, and the guard were directed to get into the back of the ambulance, and the second inmate got in and sat down in the floor of the ambulance and covered himself up with the fire coat that I had in the back. We're headed back to the vehicle entrapment area. Normally, we are locked down again between 2 gates. That night, none of that took place. They did not search the vehicle. They didn't ask for their transfer papers. They did no ID verification with the supposed patient. nor did they even look in. Had they even looked in, they would have seen that there was someone else sitting in the floor covered up under a coat. My partner started to drive off. Mr. Corley hollered at him to stop and do everything just like you always do. The guard got out of the back, went over to the tower area where the guard in the tower lowered his weapon in the bucket. When he got in, he handed it to Corley, and Corley turned around and gave it to Driver, which gave both of them the weapon.
Come on, go!
Once we got outside the trap, they had 2 weapons. Then the fear started setting in. I felt that they would do anything that they had to do to keep from going back.
Think about slowing down, you understand?
There was a guard out next to the shack at the highway that stepped out into the street in an attempt to stop the ambulance.
Come on, go! Right through! Captain, I couldn't stop him, man.
Step out of the car, please.